Welcome to the Wearable Learning Cloud Platform tutorial series. In this video, we will learn how to use the debugger in the WLCP using the game editor mode. Feel free to log into the WLCP and follow along with me as you watch this tutorial. Let's get started. Now, debugging is a popular concept in programming that we use when creating games in the WLCP. Bugs are errors in a game, usually caused by someone making a mistake or clicking the wrong button when creating their game. Bugs cause the game to behave differently than the creator expected. When testing a game before playing it, we want to find and remove all the bugs so the game works as intended. This is called debugging. In the WLCP, there is a debugger that will launch your game in the player mode from the game editor, so you can simulate playing your game and find any bugs. It is recommended that you debug your game early and often to catch errors as they arise. So let's debug a game to see how it works. I'll go into the game editor mode, and I'm going to load up a game called Demo Game Debug. When I created this game, I intentionally left some errors here so we could practice debugging. The first thing I'm going to do is make a copy. I'm the owner, so technically I don't have to make a copy. However, I want to preserve this so that other people can practice debugging. So I'll just go up to Game Options, Copy Game, and I'll call it My Game Debug. Copy game. First, let's just take a look at the structure of the game. This is based on the demo game that we've been working with the entire tutorial series, so it should be pretty familiar with you. But just to refresh, we have 3 questions, and each question has a wrong state associated with it, and then when they finish, they arrive at an end state. Now let's try debugging this game. So in order to do that, I'm going to go up and click Run and Debug at the top of my screen. And here the game has been launched in a player mode, so I can pretend to be a player. From the screen, you can select any team and player. It's important that while debugging your game, you test all teams and players to make sure that there are no bugs. For this session, I'm going to choose Team 2, Player 1. And join. Okay, right away we found a bug. The screen is blank, and obviously it shouldn't be blank. So let's go back to the editor and see what's going on. So the first thing we saw was a blank screen. Now when players enter, they're immediately going to go to Q1. So let's open that up. Team 1 looks good, it's got text in it. But we were checking on Team 2, Player 1. So let's open up Team 2. Team 2 is blank. So that's why we were seeing a blank screen in the game. I'm just going to go grab the text really quick and paste it right in there. And then click Accept. And OK. So let's close this instance of the debugger. Save our game, and now we'll hit Run and Debug again. Now it's very likely that you'll see this pop up. It says, you are already debugging a game instance. Do you want to open a new instance or open an existing instance? You would want to open a new instance if you've never debugged your game before, or if you've made changes since the last time you debugged like we did. You might want to open an existing instance if, for example, you'd finished debugging player 1 and you still haven't made any changes and now you want to debug player 2. But if you're unsure of which button to click, it's always safest to choose Open New Instance. Now because we made changes since the last time we debugged, we definitely have to open a new instance. So I'll click that. Now again, I'm going to choose Team 2, Player 1. I'm just going to keep this consistent the entire time and hit Join. Okay, now we see a question. So that's progress. Now, what's important in debugging is that you want to hit all the states and all the transitions. So I've worked with this enough to know that the correct answer to this question is evaporation. And that would mean the correct answer is blue. But I want to test a wrong answer first. So what if I hit green? Nothing happened. Okay, let's just try putting in the correct answer. Blue. Nothing happened. Okay, so we found another bug. Let's close this and go back to the editor. Okay, now when there's an issue with a response, that's almost always an issue in a transition. So let's open up this transition that comes after Q1. So team 1 is all set. Team 2 is blank. So I will put blue because I know that's the correct answer and hit accept. And while we're here, let's do this transition as well. Just check, make sure. Team 1 is all set, but team 2, the one we're testing, yeah, it's blank again. So let's just add all the wrong answers and accept and okay. Okay, now let's save this and run and debug again. New instance because we made changes. And then team 2 player 1, join. Okay, now let's try a wrong answer. So let's try black. We're still not going anywhere. Let's close this and go back to the editor. So now when we hit black, what we're supposed to do is go from Q1 through this transition to the wrong state. So we checked Q1, we made sure that was good. We added stuff into transition, so we know that's good. Another issue could be this wrong state. This whole thing is empty. Let me just type in a quick response. So wrong, click any button to continue. And hit accept and okay. Let's talk about what was happening for a second. So when a state is empty like that, it often gets skipped. So what was happening was from Q1, we were clicking the black button to go through this transition, but because this state was empty, we were skipping along this path to the next filled in state, which happened to be Q1. So it looked like we weren't going anywhere, when in fact, we were just going back to the same state we were at. Now, while we're in here, let's just check on this transition as well. Okay, this is empty, so I'll just fill in all of them because any one should bring us back to the question. Save, and then run and debug. New instance because we made changes. And then I'll go back to team 2 player 1, hit join. We get the question. Okay, let's choose red as a wrong answer. Awesome, so this brings us to our wrong state. Click any button to continue, so I'll hit a green button. Brings us back to the question. This is perfect behavior, just what we wanted. Now let's check the correct answer. So if I put in blue, evaporation, awesome. We moved to the second question. So now we've finished debugging the first question for team 2 player 1. Now let's look at this question. So let's try putting in the wrong answer. Let's say we're ordering lowest to highest, so I'll just put black in first and then all the rest. And I know this is wrong. Submit. Okay. Tells me I'm right, but I know I'm wrong. So this is another bug. Let's close this and go back to the editor. Okay, so now we're working on the question 2 section. Let's check out this transition. For team 2, it was a color sequence. Okay, this empty sequence takes all the wrong answers. But I just opened up the transition that goes to Q3. If I open up this one, team 2, the color sequence, blue, green, red, black, that's the correct answer. So I see what happened. I just accidentally switched these two transitions. So I'm going to open up this one, team 2, color sequence, and I'm going to delete the empty sequence. So let's remove that. Now I can't add the other color sequence because then it would be assigned in 2 transitions and that could break my game. But I can't leave this empty either because I run the risk of deleting everything below. So I'm just going to add a random sequence that I know is wrong, just as a placeholder. Okay, so I'll accept that, accept again. Okay, now I can go in here, team 2, color sequence. I'm going to delete this. And now I'm going to add the empty sequence, which will take all the wrong answers. This is just telling me it'll take all the wrong answers. I'll hit accept. Okay, and now I can go back here, take out the wrong placeholder that I put in. Now I can put in the correct sequence, which is blue, green, red, red, black. Accept. And that looks good, so I'll hit accept again. So I'll save and then run and debug. New instance. Team 2, player 1. Now, I could go through the same process with question 1 of doing the wrong one and doing the right one, but since I've already debugged that section of the game, I can just skip right to question 2. So I'm just going to put in blue because I know that's right, and now we can test out question 2. Okay, let's test a wrong answer. Black, red, green, blue, submit. It didn't go anywhere. We have another problem. Close this, back to the editor. Okay, so we check these transitions. We can check the wrong state, but that has text in it, so we should be okay. Okay, but you know what? Look here. There's no transition on this arrow, on this connection. So just like when I was talking above in question 1, how if there's no text in the wrong state, then the transition will automatically go back to the state. If we have a state that has no transition after it, this transition will automatically go to a state that does have a transition after it. So the system is just skipping the wrong state because there's no transition here. So let's add in this transition where it's supposed to be, and we'll fill in the answer. And then save and run and debug. Open a new instance because we made changes. Team 2, player 1. We can skip the first question because we already finished checking that. Okay, so let's put in a wrong answer to question 2. Submit. Awesome, we go to the wrong answer state. Let's hit any button, brings us back to the question. Let's try putting in the correct answer. So that would be blue, green, red, black. Submit. And this brings us to the third question. Now that you've seen me debug 2 questions, now you have the skills to finish debugging the game. You should continue this process of entering every state for every player until you've tested the entire game. You can keep debugging this game on your own, or you could debug a game you've already made. So go try it out for yourself or watch another tutorial to learn more about using the WLCP.